I never imagined that a single night could unravel everything I had worked for. But that was before my wife, Emily, told me she had been invited to a party she insisted was nothing more than a casual get-together. Just a dinner with a few friends, she said. Nothing to worry about, she added, kissing me on the cheek before leaving. Her smile concealed something I wasn't yet ready to see. Yet instinct has a way of whispering truths before the mind is prepared to hear them. There was something in the way she lingered by the door, that brief hesitation, the glance over her shoulder, a knot of unease that refused to loosen. I spent the evening pacing our apartment, pretending to work, checking my phone every few minutes, convincing myself I was being paranoid. Emily's life had always been full of friends, colleagues, and social events I thought I trusted her to navigate honestly. But the nagging unease kept returning. Her casual smile didn't match the tension in her eyes. The day itself had been ordinary. We laughed over breakfast, joked about the neighbor's cat, and planned our weekend. Nothing hinted at the storm about a break. Then, around midnight, a message came through. Emily was at the party. The text was brief, almost careless, but there was an edge I couldn't ignore. My mind painted the scene. A room full of people, men laughing, drinks in hand. I could almost see her in the center of it all, radiant, unaware that the life we had built together was already trembling. I didn't reply. There was no need. I didn't want to show anxiety or suspicion. I wanted to watch, and deep down, I knew she had already crossed a line that could never be undone. As the night dragged on, I tried to keep busy, replaying small moments from recent weeks. The little lies about work, the sudden late nights, the subtle evasions whenever I asked about her plans. I recalled her laughter at dinner last week, the furtive glance at her phone when I wasn't looking, the momentary chill on her face when I mentioned attending a company event together. Gradually, the pieces began to align. Emily wasn't just a party. She was somewhere hidden from me, somewhere I had no idea had existed. I didn't call. I didn't text. I perched on the edge of the couch, staring at the dim city lights outside our window, listening to the silence of an apartment that suddenly felt alien. Thoughts of confrontation flickered through my mind, asking her outright where she was, what she was doing. But my gut told me to wait. Let the night reveal itself. Let her actions speak louder than words. And then it hit me, a mix of fear and clarity. Tonight would change everything. Around 1:30 a.m., my phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a message. It was a photo. I opened it and my stomach sank. Emily stood amid a crowd, glasses raised, laughing with men I had never met. The room was loud, chaotic even, but her smile struck me harder than anger ever could. It wasn't the carefree joy of friendship. It was a different energy entirely. A sense of freedom I wasn't meant to witness. The realization was sharp and icy. She had stepped into a world I wasn't allowed to enter, and she hadn't hesitated. I remember the early years of our marriage, the trust we had painstakingly built. Emily had been my confidant, my partner, the one I believed would never let secrecy wedge between us. Yet here she was, somewhere unknown, hiding behind laughter and flirtation. The small moments I had ignored before began to make sense. Her sudden desire to go out more often, the text she deleted too quickly, the way she avoided details about casual gatherings. All roads led to this night, the night our marriage collided with reality. I wanted to storm in, demand answers, confront her immediately, but I didn't. I had learned that the most powerful responses aren't always loud. Calm observation, patience, and timing often reveal more than anger ever could. I took a deep breath, letting the tension coil tighter in my chest. Every ping from my phone, every distant laugh from the street below, reminded me she had chosen this moment to step outside our shared life. And yet, strangely, I didn't feel rage. I felt clarity. Then, around 2:15 a.m., I saw him. A man leaning too close, whispering something in Emily's ear. Her body language shifted instantly, intimate in a way I had never allowed anyone to witness. My fist clenched, but I stayed seated, silent. Let her act. Let her choices reveal themselves. For months, maybe years, I had been trying to rationalize her actions, to protect her from consequences. Now, Each photo that arrived, every snapshot of laughter and flirtation, proved a pattern. This wasn't an isolated slip. This was deliberate, stepping into a world where our marriage didn't exist. Yet amid the sting of betrayal, a sense of control emerged. I had time. I had clarity. I could see her for who she truly was when the mask fell. By 3 a.m., I knew what I had to do, but not in the way she expected. I didn't rush over. I didn't call. I didn't send frantic messages. Instead, I let the truth speak for itself. I had arranged for someone to subtly track her location, not out of obsession, but to witness the reality she was creating. The night unfolded. Pictures and updates painted the story I could no longer deny. Emily wasn't merely mingling. She was actively seeking attention, laughing at flattery, leaning closer to men clearly intrigued by her presence. Then, around 4 a.m., a short video arrived. Emily on a balcony, laughing and whispering to a man whose hand rested on her back. My chest tightened, but my mind was sharper than ever. This was the pivot point. Everything we had built, trust, love, shared plans, was no longer hers to manipulate or hide. Clarity settled. My reaction, deliberate and composed, would shape the outcome, not panic or anger. I waited until dawn. When Emily returned, disheveled yet smiling as if nothing had happened, I was ready. I didn't confront her immediately. I made breakfast, poured coffee, acted as if the night had been ordinary. But when she leaned in, expecting casual conversation, I met her gaze, quiet, unyielding, carrying the weight of every photo, every whisper, every choice she had made to betray our life. Silence stretched, thick and heavy, until she asked nervously, "Why are you staring at me like that?" Calmly, I replied, unshakable, "Emily, I know where you were last night and who you were with." Her smile faltered, confusion and guilt crossing her face. For the first time in years, she saw me not as a partner to be tested or ignored, but as a man who had been awake while she was careless. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. I let her feel the weight of the truth. In that quiet, everything changed. Words weren't necessary. The night had spoken for itself. Emily realized that choices made in secrecy carry consequences. And I realized trust, once broken, can't be restored with apologies alone. It demands clarity, boundaries, and an unflinching understanding of who we are and who we allow in our lives. That night marked the end of illusions and the beginning of a truth I would never ignore again. By morning, I had decided what our marriage would look like from that point forward. Secrecy was over. Pretenses dismantled. Emily's world and mine no longer overlapped in the ways they once had. For the first time in years, I felt a quiet, unwavering control over my life. A peace forged not by denial, but by confronting betrayal with patience, clarity, and resolve.